Well, here we got a 150. Pretty much the funnest bike that exists, at least in my opinion. It's a perfect bike for beginners because you really have to know how to use the clutch, how to be in the right gear, because if you're lazy and the gear too tall around a corner, you're just not going to go fast. And it's light, it's cheap, easy to fix when you want to. It's just a little two-stroke. And the newer ones are injection, but this is an old carb one, which is my favorite part about it because I can infinitely fix it. Some people call it a carburetor. Right there, mixing the fuel in the air, makes the bike go. Probably should put my goggles on. No good.
Explain what you were doing on the tree, Wes.
I was up against it and feathering the clutch to maintain pressure, and then I can balance on it. Little fun trick. Not good for your clutch.
I was gonna say, since you can't capture smell in the video, explain what that is.
Because I'm sitting there slipping the clutch to control the power of the bike and keep it running. And then just keep spinning the clutch and I can literally smell the clutch burning. So Kirby needs a new clutch.
I need a new everything.
You need a new bike, let's be honest.
I mean, it's got 115 hours on it.
Oh, it's still fresh.
It's under the seat, you can't see it.
Oh, well, that's lame. Everyone puts it there.
Well, it's a gas. I had to install it myself.
You mean a red KTM, right?
Yes, the red KTM.
So yeah, this is a 250F. It's pretty much the next size up from the 150 if you're not going to go with the 252 stroke.
So yeah, this is explain the difference between the 4-stroke and the 2-stroke at this point.
So, how nerdy do you want me to be about it?
Just inform the public, man.
So basically, everyone knows that you have a piston that goes up and down. And for every time the spark plug fires on a 4-stroke, the piston goes up and down, cycles 4 times. On a 2-stroke, it only cycles twice. So 2-strokes are technically more efficient and they're lighter, but 4-strokes have better power delivery.
Very nice. Who would you recommend getting a 250F or even a 250 2-stroke?
Probably be someone that started off. Pretty much anyone that's older. I know a lot of older guys like to get the big 450s and the 350s, but if you don't have the skill to manage it, it's just going to get you hurt. So 250F is good for pretty much anyone, unless you're good enough that you can control more power. And if you can't control more power, you shouldn't be on a bigger bike. And 450s are just death machines.
Very nice.
If you don't know what you're doing. Balance here. Okay, so this is a 300. It's kind of fun. Since the two-stroke, the weight is differently, so it's a little easier to balance when you're stationary. And I cheated a little bit, because what you gotta do is rack your wheel a couple times, creates a little shock, and it's like 25% easier to balance. Still tricky, but if you're really brave, you can stand up. And then if you're really brave, you can hit the rear brake and let go with the front brake. Ah. If I got it. Oh gosh, no. I'm gonna stay seated because I'm late. But yeah, the 300s are good if you're doing hard enduro stuff or sand. They have a little more torque than the 252 stroke, and we also don't even have one around. So jumping straight to it, all of the hard enduro guys you'll see around are running 300s. As well as a lot of the European Enduro GP guys. They like 300s too, because they have a class for them.
Also the over 50A torques.
Yeah, lots of those guys like 300s too, because they don't like change. And they think two-strokes are the way to be.
Explain the difference in suspension on this bike.
Suspension, well, this is 812 suspension. I've never really ridden 812 suspension that I liked 100%.
What would be the difference though between stock suspension and something that's a little aftermarket or something you send off to service?
It's definitely worth money just getting cone valve, but it also has to be set up for like your weight and your riding style, because cone valve always comes super duper stiff, like it's made for a pro rider. But I like cone valve just because the air, it changes too much. Like while I ride a bike with air forks, I can feel the air in it getting hot, and then it changes how the bike reacts. And it makes it really chattery and weird, whereas forks that are all oil and springs are really smooth in how they work, and they'll kind of, you can anticipate what they're going to do a lot easier than with air. Because I can ride an air fork for 20 minutes and hit the same bump or whoop I just had, and it'll give me a different reaction, which I really don't like.
Very nice. Jeff just got a new bike. Tell us about the bike, man.
It is awesome. It is super fast, super fun.
Can't
wait to race it.
What is it?
300 XC 2024 KTM.
Nice. Very nice. How many hours have you put on it so far?
About 3.5.
Nice.
So,
Very
but I
nice.
knocked some of the new off of it today.
Nice.
Yeah, 350, pretty much the best all-rounder bike you can have, in my opinion. Does any jump on a motocross track without really having to try. Fast and light to whip around in the woods. Mine's a little modified, I got different stuff on here, but the stock bike is awesome, assuming you throw the air forks in the garbage.
Explain your gas tank on there.
This is actually an SX, not an XC. So it came with a little black tank, and I need a bigger tank for longer enduros and races, so we got the big IMS tank on it. It's good, it works, and you might think that this will be uncomfortable, but I've never hurt myself on it yet, so it works out.
Never hurt yourself on what? Oh yeah.
That.
I like this bike.
It's pretty.
Oh, now we're showing off like a toddler.
It's his favorite bike.
Alright, got the big bike, 450. These things are awesome to ride, only if you know how to control it. Like on the 150 over there, I use the clutch to make it go faster. On the 450, I use the clutch to make it go slower, because I have to rein it back in, because if I don't, it'll just wheelie over backwards and I'll die.
Ride it around, let's see it.
Yeah, it's fast, and with no RPMs either, so if you give it a little bit of throttle, it gives you a lot, which is why I don't recommend it for people that aren't well experienced, because I've seen a lot of people buy 450s right off the bat when they haven't been riding for a long time or just started, and they always hurt themselves. because you have to respect what the 450 can give you.
Very good.
But this thing's awesome, man. We just drain it and put fresh water in it every time, so there's no filtration or anything like that.
I got prickly pears in the car. My broken finger.